This is the Esports Leads, the very first podcast about esports marketing and advertising. My name is Nico Arzhantsev, and I'm finally back. I'm united with my PC to record this podcast for you guys. So, just a few words why we are doing this thing. So, basically, we want to help the industry, the esports industry, to achieve creative success, to level up their marketing strategies, and basically create more outstanding projects that will go global. And yeah, this is the next episode. This is the second one, and I have really great guests. Clément Debruyne. He is an editorial director from Hurrah.agency, Paris. And if you work in the esports industry, you probably know these guys because they're pretty famous and amazing. They're working with huge non-endemic clients like Lion, Renault, Domino's Pizza, making such a huge commercials for the esports world that I'm sometimes it's impressive. With Clement, we're gonna talk about different things like how to work with non-endemic clients, how to educate them about the esports, and do you have to educate them? Maybe they are just coming to you when they're ready. We will also talk about possibilities and opportunities for non-endemic clients and how to get them if you were working, in the esports industry. So please welcome Clément Debruyne. Yeah, and it's great to have you today. And yeah, I'm really excited to have this conversation about Hurrah and about you, the things that you already produce, the things you're making right now, your passion, your role in the agency, your way to, your creative approach. So we should have a lot of fun here talking about,
Mm.
esports and advertising and creativity. But let's start with the basic. Please tell the world, please tell me who are you and why you're working at Hurrah.agency and what does it mean to work in the esports industry. Yeah.
All right then. Hi everyone. I'm Clément Debruyne, or you just can call me Deb as a contraction of my name. I'm 28. I've been working at Hurrah for 5 years now, I guess. Yeah, it's gonna be 5 years. Um, and yeah, I've just like started in advertising after I've been graduated. I didn't plan actually to work in esports or gaming, etc. I had a path that just led me to advertising agencies, etc. And the funny thing is that actually in the very beginning, I was mostly doing like project management and stuff like that. So my first experiences were like in a classical agencies doing project management. Like I was searching for agency that could have that gaming vibe in a sense, and I just found Hurrah like on the web like randomly, and it was just new, uh, and I was like, oh okay, that sounds interesting.
Mhm.
And it was in Paris. I was already living there, so I was like, no way this exists. But I still tried, and yeah, it worked out pretty well. Mathieu and Angela, the two co-founders, trusted me right away, and we starting getting the first Kura clients, and now we're here.
And here we go. Okay. Yeah, I know, like the things that you said, it's pretty hard to find, esports creative agency, even gaming creative agency. It's not so simple to do, but we'll get
Yeah.
there. You said that you've been doing and like kind of had experience in traditional advertising, right? Like
Mhm.
back in agencies, but you've been like project or what was your journey like from the project into Hurrah or from the project to creative to Hurrah? How was the flow? What was your background to
Yeah.
to be where you are right now?
But yeah, I've been in a small agencies in Paris, but also to Ogilvy right after. I really enjoyed it, and then I needed to like actually start looking for my first like real job because it was all internship after my uh, after after school. So actually, Hurrah was my first job, like my first real job. So
Mhm.
I've been I've been there, and we started like to just like looking for clients, because it was like the very beginning of the agency. So I was doing basically everything. You know how it is in like very small structures.
It's a lot of hustle. It's a lot
So
of
yeah,
hustle.
I just like learn on my own how to like do Facebook ads, etc. Because that was the first clients that we ever had. It was Strafe, the like an app, an esports app that just like gives you the results, the news, etc.
Hmm.
They're still our clients. Big shout out to them, because they're like one of the reason we're here, and they were like the first one of the first to trust us in the very early stages. Um, but yeah, I started basically doing anything that could benefit the
The
agency. So also
agency.
like prospections, calling clients, preparing presentation with like ideas we had together with Mathieu, CEO, and like creative director of the agency. Uh, so it was in the very beginning. I had no like proper proper title in a way, and then we started to be staffed more, etc. And um, because I could like touch to various projects and subjects. I tried also my luck in that like community management, also like more uh, writing and copywriting.
Hmm.
And actually, I'm very lucky that like Angela and Mathieu, so the two co-founders, trusted me for that one, because they were like just like, oh, we just like the way you do the way you do it, the way you write. You had some crazy ideas. So why why don't you just want to go for the copywriter role? And I was like, hell yeah, I wanted to.
To be
I just
creative.
wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before we will talk about being editorial director and what does it mean as a Hurrah.agency, I want to ask you about your esports background and your gaming background. Tell me
Mhm.
in general, do you play games? Do you play esports?
Yeah, I do play a lot of games actually. But like yeah, since I'm a kid, I've always played games. I started like on the Game Boy. I was like playing Tetris when I was like 3 years old. My mother was just like crazy about like she was just like watching me playing the game, and my dad was just behind like, oh, he actually know how to do the how to do the stuff, etc. And then the usual like consoles, etc. I remember my dad had a pretty old console. It was like the Master System or something like this. I remember. So my dad had a console like even uh, I don't know if it was before I was born, but I was pretty young already.
One of the
So
first, yeah.
I always been in there actually. So
Hmm.
when I was in high school, I was playing a lot of Counter Strike. It was Counter Strike Source. It was the very beginning of Counter Strike Source, if I'm not
Already sourced.
mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I started. I played a bit of 1.6. Um, and it was mostly in like cyber cafes. When we had a pause between lectures, etc., we
I
just like
know.
went to the cyber cafe and cyber cafe and just like playing some games, etc.
Oh man, I
Uh,
totally know this thing. I'm from this world too. Back in my time, back when I was a kid, I also, went to like the whole night spending with friends playing
exactly.
in the small basement with a but it's
Yeah,
it's a
I'm
lot
kind
of
of
fun.
missing that vibe. I'm
That's
kind of
true.
missing
I'm
that
still
vibe though.
missing it.
One cool thing is that I still have like that group of friends. Like when we were kids, we were already doing like small LAN parties in the basements, etc. Like we were 10 or 12, something like this, and we are still seeing each other today from time to time and playing some CS or some Warcraft. Like old times, just to remember old times, etc. So I'm really happy to still have that actually. But that was really good times, and the cyber cafe also, like those you can you don't really see it that much now
Yeah, this culture is
because
dying,
everyone is just like
for
yeah
sure.
playing at home, etc. So that's also when I was starting to play World of Warcraft
Mhm.
a lot, a lot. And then it was like League of Legends, of course,
League of
since like
Legends.
I guess season 2 or something like that.
Wow.
I still play a lot today,
Mhm.
but more like casually with friends. I've never really try hard at the game. I'm just playing to have fun with friends, etc. On Discord, notably, like especially during the lockdown. Like there's a lot
Yes.
of nights where we just like hang
Everyone
out
staying
hang out on
together.
Discord and just like play games together. And mostly it's League of Legends mostly because it's like super mainstream actually for PC gamers. So a lot of friends have that. So
But I want to ask you, like you said League of Legends, you said Counter Strike, and in general, like makes sense for you to play, a lot of games because you're working with these games. And I've seen you make something for Dota 2, something for uh, again Counter Strike. So without the background of these games, and we will also talk about it, it will be way harder to make something
mhm.
meaningful, especially for the
Yeah,
community,
sure.
because esports community can feel it immediately when you're not talking the same language. You're basically
Yeah,
done. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And
Okay.
that's why it's super important to actually play those games, or at least know the game, and or asking or knowing people that know the game, so that you can just ask and be like, oh, I had that ID, I'm not pretty sure that's the way I should formulate that, so can you please double check because I know you're a specialist. And yeah, at least playing, but if you can't, at least knowing people that play those games. So,
Do you have your favorite game in general, and your favorite esports game? But it's probably going to be League of Legends or Counter Strike, right?
mhm. Speaking of esports, that's always been hard for me to say, but I'll just go for Counter Strike. It's an amazing game. Like also to watch, like to watch, it's just like super. It's also like super dynamic because in League of Legends from time to time you have those. It depends of the meta, but you have those farming phase or people are analyzing each other, etc. CS is like it's rounds, so
Go.
you have action every time and big clutches potential, etc. So gaming, that's actually a good question because I love to play those esports games, but I also like to be solo from time to time and to be like transported by just like great stories, etc. And for that, I just need to go for Final Fantasy.
Oh wow, that's unusual. But which part?
Yeah, definitely the Final Fantasy 7.
Classic.
Like my heart just goes with the Final Fantasy 7. Like the world they created, the story they had, and also they were like one of the first to talk about ecology because you had a real ecological message behind that game. Those super big industries pumping the planet's energy, etc. That's all, like everything is built around that. And also, yeah, just the characters, etc. They were like amazing, and
Yeah.
that's one of the first Final Fantasy I played actually. But that's, for me, that's still one of the best. And also, I really like the Final Fantasy 10 because it was the first one on the PS2,
Mm-hmm.
and you had such a, like, in the graphics that was like so beautiful. Like it was the first Final Fantasy on PS2. When I was watching like the cinematics of the thing, I was like, wow, that's just too beautiful.
Really
Right.
important questions talking about esports. Your favorite team or teams, and your favorite players.
Hmm. Favorite team, I would need to go for G2. Like they had a full French roster just before.
Yeah.
Now it's not the case anymore. They still had that, those French players, etc. But they were here also before Vitality on CS, and then I kind of got into the story they started to build on LoL, etc. And they started to be really like super successful these years,
Yeah.
trying to keep the pace with the Korean teams and the Chinese teams, even if they get 0-3 in the finals all the time by the Chinese teams. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's the European team that gives me the most like Goosebumps, etc.
This is one of the teams that had really great strategy behind it. So I think their
Hmm.
strategy is still like created to entertain or something like this. And
Yeah.
you can see like from different teams by the same G2 community, they're all united, and you can feel
Hmm.
like even if you're gonna watch the video about League of Legends or the video about CS:GO, you will immediately know it's the same team. It's G2.
Yeah. You'll
So
have that G2 mood all the way. Like there's in any roster, being it like LoL, CS, Rocket League, whatever, they're all gonna have like that G2 vibe in a way, and that's what I really liked. Like remember when I talked about like LoL some years ago when I felt kind of the storytelling around the teams and was not that great actually. I really feel that G2, I would say in Europe, because the rest I don't really know that much actually, but at least in Europe they were like the first to really try something different. They try to go for that kind of like bad guys way of like doing the things and communicating. They were a bit cocky, etc. And that's what I really liked about them. Like so much people were like, I don't like these guys because blah blah blah. They're talking too much and etc. But I was like, no, guys, that's just how it should be. And there's only them that are doing this right now.
And from the esports and gaming, let's get closer to Hurrah.agency, and let's start from the beginning. So you already there for like 5 years, and right
Yep.
now you're an editorial director. And just let's explain to people who maybe don't know what does it mean. Who is an editorial director, and what are you doing?
All right. So basically, what I'm doing is that I'm doing the copywriter job at Hurrah, but I'm like also checking when it comes to all the teams, not only like the new briefs we have, etc. Like even like the existing clients where I'm not I'm not working anymore in that team internally. I'm still here, to coach and also to be sure like we're as creative as we can be like anytime. So I'm basically doing anything that implies words, actually.
Tell me, please, how big is the agency? How many people do you have right now? And like I know that you're
mm,
growing really fast, but let's start with like amount of people and how many creatives or do you have in the team?
um, I'd say we are close to 20 now. I'd say we are close to 20, and we are actually four creatives at the agency. Uh, and we started to grow bigger and bigger, and we even like created a group now, because it's not just Hurrah now. It's Hurrah.group with agency, studio, and media. We are from the same group, but we're still like different companies. But sometimes we still work together because we need to, and when I was saying like studio is really about producing visual content. At some point you'll need a script, etc. So they're gonna come to agency, etc. And if like agency creates an advertising campaign where media is needed, we're gonna contact Hurrah Media just to create the right tailored media plan according to the idea, etc. So we're just like all working together, but also we have some projects where we actually don't need to work together because just our clients come and ask for a specific need that only one of this company can really provide, and we're just going that way. So we're a group with three different entities that work together from time to time, depending on projects, and yeah, that's it. Whatever they do in the agency, whatever their role is, like having an additional look is always something great to have, I think. And that's something we are implementing a lot, and we think it's super useful for some of those subjects.
Yeah, yeah. And it makes a lot of sense to me that you guys share, what you're doing at the early stage of developing said
Mhm.
project. And I think it's, my personal opinion, it's helping because with esports, there are many things that you have to understand and
Yeah.
deal with. If you making an ad for, I don't know, Dota 2 and you don't know Dota, you need someone to take a look at your project because you can make a huge
Yeah.
mistake. It's not gonna work.
Sure thing.
So getting probably to the for me is the most interesting question about Hurrah is when you look at your portfolio, you will see a lot of non-endemic huge clients like Lion, like Domino's
Mm.
Pizza, like Reno, uh, and it's pretty impressive because for esports, a lot of esports agencies, they work with organizations and teams or endemic clients. So you guys are different, and stuff that you're producing is huge. It's not like, oh, we're making this like a social media post. You're probably making it too, but you also making like a whole
Mhm.
commercial, and or the whole like a case study, really exciting things. And question one, how the fuck did you get so many non-endemic clients? It's like amazing. Like, how that
I
happen?
mean, it was our goal from the very beginning. It was to attract non-endemic brands to esports because it's just a like it's just a super interesting word for them, and also a new way of like diversifying their marketing mix also
Mhm.
because they're like they know it, like it's one of those stakes that everyone has today is you need to diversify and talk digital, and find new ways to talk to your audience, and esports and gaming is like one of those, and and it's a need that the endemic brands have, and they also need to be educated a bit about.
So
It might take like way much time, but that's also like the most interesting, even creatively, like to bring those brands to a universe they don't really know. But uh, usually people also ask the question like. Is there a specific range of products or range of like specific brands that cannot be in esports and whatever, and every time I'm just like, no, I don't think so, because like if you find that that brand DNA that you can like that you share with the sports, etc., like you always have a mean to to go in there. You just need to find the right entry point,
mhm.
and there's no way a brand like from the very beginning cannot be in esports. All the brands can, and that's why also like dynamic brands are super interesting creatively to work with, because they're not used to it, so it's also a big challenge to make them understand that they actually do, and if they do it this way, it's gonna be authentic, or it's gonna be funny, or both, or
Mhm.
and your place is just here. You can go. Don't worry.
That's a really good point that any brand can enter the esports industry and create something there meaningful and successful. Because
Yeah,
yeah, there is a lot of opportunities from different brands. And like if your brand is not used to esports right now, it's a good time to get there just because you still have a lot of room to be creative and a lot of room to explore things. It's not too
yeah.
crowded right now. But talking about the, getting the non-endemic clients, let's be a little bit more specifically how it works. Like, do you like look for pitches around the industry, around the advertising, like, oh, this is like this brand and they want to do something, with esports, and you come to them, or you have a specific person, like someone who basically knock every door and asking like, hey guys, we have this expertise that we can give you, or is it like something else? Because really interesting to know this entering point, how you
Hmm.
find these clients and how you kind of show them what they can get with Hurrah.
But it's actually a mix of the two, because you always need like a newbies person in any agency to go and knock at doors, as you said. But also like the fact that we are so specific in a way in like like the esports and gaming, we have that expertise. We also had brands that were knocking at our door and be like, "Oh, I just heard about you," or "I saw I saw in the this brand in my company that already worked with you, and I felt it was super innovative and interesting. So can we just like meet and talk together to see like how esports and gaming looks, advertising and communication wise, etc." So it's yeah, I think it's a mix of the two, and now you have also like many networking events or like business events within esports and gaming, etc. And more brands are interested into that actually. So they just hang out there and see what they can learn, and if it clicks, they're just like, okay, that sounds great. I'm gonna talk about that with my marketing director, and see if we have some budget to make it work next year, or that's it. But as it is still new for a lot of brands, they don't have like a pocket that is dedicated to gaming or esports, etc. They actually need to negotiate it for next year, etc. So mostly it's also like some projects like take a bit more time also for that, that educational part, because uh like I'm talking for Hurrah, like we need to educate clients so that they also can educate internally and show people and deciders internally that esports is the way to go for next year or whatever. So it also like takes time to put things in place, and then as soon as we have a go or a budget, etc., we start exploring uh cool creative ideas to make it work.
Got it. So yeah, make it like points. So at first you already have a reputation, right? You have a reputation and it works for you. It's bringing you clients, and just because you already produce something great, right? So then
Mhm.
you have like classic new business, someone who, and I think his job is like very important, but a little bit easier than in traditional agencies because you basically bring in something new. You like basically saying like, hey, we have something that
Mm,
not so many creatives, not so many agencies can, basically produce and do,
yeah.
which is definitely helps a lot to get these clients. Then you have, these events that you mentioned. This is an interesting point. I didn't, this networking thing also that spread awards and like, rumors about the agency help you to get, more clients. And then we have the last point. It's basically some clients like they know that they want to try esports, they don't know whom they want to call, and when they basically Google, like esports creative agency,
Yeah.
is Hurrah gonna be one of the first that will appear. Yeah, even like if you're not in France, it's just that's how it is right now.
But
uh,
also you have that you have more and more like sports agency that their client asked them like, yeah, can you do the strategy for next year, etc. Oh, and also I heard about that thing, gaming, esports, etc. Do you think there is something we could do, etc.? And from time to time we can also like be contacted by some like sports agency or even mainstream agency. They're just like, we trust you for the esports part. Uh, our client just asked us to integrate esports into the strategy. What do you think? Do you have anything to propose, etc.? So that's also a way to get new clients.
do you have like a specific deck of presentations that like this is esports, or it was just a workshop? What was like these like small steps, specific steps that you had to to do before you actually
We legit have a presentation that is named "Hurrah for Esports" that we show our clients from time to time. Like the new clients we're getting in touch with. But that's funny you talk about Lion, because one thing that we did actually with them is to bring them to an esports event like right away. Just like, okay,
That's
okay,
smart.
come with us and you'll see.
Simply.
Come with us and you'll see. And we just like bring them to the I think it was an LEC final in Paris, like in the big arena in Paris, and they were like, wow, that looks great. Like the atmosphere is amazing. People are super passionate, and they were like, yeah, okay, I know what you mean, and that was super nice. I couldn't like I didn't get a thing,
Mhm.
but I still had a great time, you know. Even like just watching people, etc. I didn't understand what I was watching, like during the whole final, but I still had a great time, and yeah, I know where you mean. Right, and I think that was actually a good idea to bring them here so that they can really like see what happens. Like it was especially for offline events
Yeah, I know, man.
that we
It's
wanted to bring them
brilliant.
here. But
It's
yeah,
brilliant idea. I have to say, it's actually really smart, and that's like the point that whoever is listening to us, this is a really good thing to do. You, not showing like, oh, there is a video. You basically take the client. Right now we
mm,
can't do it. Sorry, but soon,
yeah,
you show them what's going on, you show them the scale, because these tournaments, it's not like 1000 people, it's huge,
mm,
it's
mm,
stadiums. And then you show them emotions, because emotions that's going on during the offline events, it's basically like a huge sports event. It's like you go with your friends to watch your favorite teams, football teams, or American
yeah,
football teams, and the emotions that you will have there, this is something that connects these two worlds, like sports, traditional sports, and esports, emotions and feelings about your
mm,
team. But this is taking clients and showing them what's going on.
yeah,
I would like put in
yeah.
my
Just make them
notebook.
experience it right away.
I think you again gave me good advice that um, you have to help the client to figure out what they want with esports and what they can get. And some clients, even I met them, it's like, we know that Fortnite is hot. It's like, it's like everyone talking about it. We want to do something in Fortnite. When their audience is basically way more older than Fortnite audience. And for them, the like mobile, like Dota 2 or like, Counter Strike will be a better fit. However, you start with talking to them, like you said, you're explaining them what's the difference between all these games, because
Mm.
yeah, it's a lot of difference. Okay, Clément, let's get to real cases and real stuff that you produce at Hurrah. It's Parion Esports, right? It's a betting website.
Exactly. Yeah.
And let's see. I think you produced guys two commercials. Let's see one of them together, and then basically talk a little about the whole thing.
Et le wallbang gallois, attention, il va pouvoir diffuse. Et le ninja diffuse.
Yes! Yes! Ah, c'était ouf, mec! Quoi? Le CT, il clutch en force bike en 1v3. Après, il met un gros one tap, il récupère la WAP, wallbang sur le deuxième, et Ninja diffuse dans la smoke. Et du coup, eh ben, j'ai gagné mes paris. Ok.
Avec parionesport.fr, pariez gratuitement sur les games qui vous passionnent.
Actually, that website, Parion Esport, uh, it was an initiative of the the big company in France that basically owns all the money games, etc.
Mhm.
Um, and they had their sports betting website, of course, and they were interested into creating their esports betting website. Thing is, in France, you still don't have the right to put money on esports websites and on esports gambling. Sorry.
I didn't know.
Uh, Now you can have bets on esports. That's not regulated yet.
Looking at this right now, do you think the same strategy will work, in 2021, 2020?
Mm.
Or because it was the first website, was the first betting website, that was the right way to do? But right now, it should be something else.
Yeah, right now, if I had the same brief, I'm pretty sure I would go with a different in a different way. But at this moment, it just felt like this was the way we really wanted to bring here, and the vibe we really wanted to bring. So, yeah, conveying that, yeah, we got you, we got you vibe. Um, like we know what you're talking about, and yeah, compared to other betting ads, mm, the thing is, for like the way I'm seeing betting ads in esports for now, it's mostly CS:GO that I really watch here, and it's mostly, almost in-game footage and crazy clutches, etc. And there's not that much IRL situations and thrill,
Mm-hmm.
etc. So yeah, I think we what was nice about that ad is that we managed to create an esports betting ad without actually showing esports at all, and just like making making people hear the action that the guy just like just watch and experience, and like when you know the that esports, you kind of see it in your head when he's talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I really like about that ad, compared to, like, if we need to compare it to, like, other betting ads. It's like, what I really like is that we had that esports vibe without going to the facility of uh just showing esports moves, etc.
So we're gonna talk about Lion, about I think it's the first project, right? That
Yeah,
you
the first
produced.
project we did for Lion,
Okay.
yeah.
So you know, the whole case study will be playing, but while it's playing, I wanna talk to you a little. Uh, First of all, can you make a summary of the idea for people who just want to know what happens there?
Yeah. All right, so I'll try to be fast on that one, but actually, this is the first project we did for Lion Cereals, and it was meant to be like a French activation. So they started with activating esports at the French level, and then we went like European and pan-European. And here at that time, they asked us, like, yeah, what could we do within esports, etc. And we were like, yeah, Lion Heroes is like the brand of the wild pleasure, etc. So we just asked ourselves the question, so, like, what is wild in esports? And we just had to go for the fans. Like, fans just ace it, like, um at any like offline event, etc. And actually, in League of Legends, the French crowd is really known to be like super super loud, super, like, super wild, actually. So, the thing is, that year that Lyon Serial briefed us, there was no offline event in France for League of Legends. So we were like, fuck it, we're gonna bring the French fans to final, and we created a booster club in a way. And so we asked the wildest French fans to, like, the activation was just like shouting as strong as you can in your mic and explode our website. And if you manage to explode the whole thing, you enter the draw slot to be part of the, like, 100 people we bring here.
100 people.
Uh,
Excuse me, Clément.
yeah,
Where was the final?
it was in Hamburg.
Hamburg. Got it.
Hamburg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we missed it.
So we just organized the whole thing. It was a all-inclusive trip. They had their tickets to the final, transportation, the accommodation, hotel in Hamburg, etc. And we just, like, gave them like branded jerseys, so that they really looked like a booster club, etc. And they were like, and we just, like, uh, opened the gates of the arena, and they were getting absolutely crazy in the thing, and they were shouting like a whole arena, but there were 100, you know.
Yeah. So basically, what you did, you brought 100 fans to the final, to the League of Legends final, and all of them proved that they are wildest and loudest French fans.
Yeah.
This is very simple, clean, and like a very good idea to show. At first, esports, it's very emotional. Some fans
Hmm.
going crazy, and you want to be part of this community because that's the emotions that you can get.
And that was actually crazy because people were like, German people were asking like, who the hell are they? Like, what is happening, etc. Like, is it a team jersey that they have? Because it was like we really like printed professional jerseys, like branded jerseys with like Wildest fans,
Mhm.
um, a Wildest fan on it, etc. So we felt like it felt like they were all part of like the same group, and they were just here like just to, yeah, to go wild,
Yeah.
and we had like that big flag also that we printed, that we had, you know, you have in some football stadiums, etc. So we just wanted to make things big and just show Europe that French fans were the best there.
Yeah.
And that was funny because you had like Hans Sama, the French ADC, that was actually playing there, and he tweeted, I think he tweeted like, I heard the national French anthem like 10 times during the finals, but it was in Hamburg. What the fuck, the French fans, you're so like, what the hell
Oh
is
man.
happening? And then, like, all the people from the Wildest fans were answering the guy and being like, yeah, that was us, the Wildest fans, etc. So yeah, that was crazy because even like the people in that group of person were like super proud to be there and like give the best that they
That's
had, and,
true.
you know,
That's
shout.
true. Because they've been a representation of French fans, and
Exactly,
it's funny.
exactly.
I can imagine, just being like there and like just randomly Le Bravejean de la, and you're like, oh my, this is like real French fans. This is amazing. Yeah. Questions that I have right now to get back and ask you, why Lion as a client? Why did they realize that they want to do esports? What happened that they like, guys, we should do esports right now instead of many other things that they could produce, from the
Hmm.
basic stuff to whatever we're gonna do music. We're gonna do. Why they choose to do esports?
And they were kind enough, if I may say, to like accept to take those risks for them, because as you said, like a usual brand would, you know, kind of go for sponsoring first, and then we'll see. I'm just taking the ROI and etc. But they trusted us immediately, and they were like, okay, we trust you. If you tell us it's the right way to go, we're gonna go all in, etc. And they did, and it worked pretty well. So yeah.
So they test the water. They realize the potential. They realize that they have a team to to
Yep.
do this work, and they started to do more and more. But before
Mhm.
we will get to the next cases, to the next things, I want to ask you. I'm not gonna ask you silly questions about the budget and this stuff, but I want to ask you about the timeline. What was the timeline from we got the brief to we got the case study, already edited? What was this?
Mm,
How long did it take you guys to make a trail? Do you remember?
um, I would say 6 months or something like that, just from A to Z.
Mm-hmm.
uh, because it was still like a big thing to organize. It was like a trip for like 100 like 100 fans, etc. So from the brief to the case study, I would say 6 months, because we had a lot to prepare, because we to let people know also, we shot like a small video with influencers that were like, yeah, just come with us, and shout, because we are we're the wildest, we're going to be the wildest fans, because like French fans are the best, so let's show Europe that we are the best, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to produce those videos, then get the website ready, to get the activation along, and then just like book book the travel and make sure every the papers, everything. Like that was a nightmare. I can remember
Hustle,
Jan, the
hustle.
project manager, that had nightmare because of that project. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I can see. Yeah, I can see the problem with 100 people and documents and all these things, and like just being in control of such a crowd.
Mm.
It's
But they were actually so nice. They were just glad to be here, and they were just like playing the game actually, because of course, when we had an after movie afterwards, and of course, Lyon wanted to have the pictures of people that with the brand, etc.
Mhm.
And it was actually the people that won the thing that went to us and were like, "Hey guys, if you need something like me being with the cereals and making a thumbs up, it's whenever you want, you can take a photo, etc." And they were like super super into it. And I was like, yeah, I can understand why people are always saying that our generation is really like aware of like all the marketing and advertising way of doing thing.
Mhm.
So it was that much, so that they were just coming to us and be like, I know you just want Lyon to be happy, because they know we were the agency. And they were like, yeah, we know you just want Leon to be happy. So if you want me just to come with a pack of cereals and be like, I'm super happy, etc., just call me and I'm gonna come, etc. So yeah, that was super funny. They were just genuinely super glad to be here and super. No, the funny thing is that actually, like one year after, etc., when we were going to French lands, we were seeing people that were with the Wildest fan jersey. And they were there and they still had that, and we had a Discord afterwards with everyone that they were always asking like, hey guys, are you going to Paris for the LEC final? I'm coming, I'll be wearing my Wildest fans jersey, etc., let's meet there. And they were like, whoa, they actually stick together. That's super funny.
This is amazing. Yeah, community. You helped a
Yeah.
friend and you built a community and also got a great case study. So my personal opinion that many other brands, many other non-endemic, requests that you got came from this one, because that was like, wow, this is great. This is amazing for esports, and this is great in general as a advertising. So good thing to have in your portfolio if you want to do esports projects. So probably the last question about this activation is, when the client realized the scale, you know, they decided to go, to produce more stuff. But again, talking about education, at the first, at the beginning, did you have to educate them a lot? And when it came to the next project, was it way smoother? Was it like client already knowing what they are doing, or it's still step-by-step education from the project to the
Mm,
next one, and then?
yeah. It's still step by step, because you can go from 0 or 10 to like 100% right away. They I'm pretty sure like they learned a lot through this activation and campaign. But also the thing that we needed to do for the next project is to go from the French level to the European level. So we were not always talking with the same persons, etc. And we need to make it go to the next level actually. So we need to again educate more and more people in another scale, etc.
Mhm.
So we had to do the work all over, all over. That's just part of the job, right?
I know that's
That's just part of
that's
the
a
job. So yeah.
reality. That's the realities that you have with non-endemic brands. And moving to the next one, moving to the next project I want to talk about with you. And this is basically a commercial and a big one. And this time I will ask you a few silly questions, like if you can share with me what was the budget, what was the goal, what was the struggle with the client, because I know with the with the commercials sometimes it's shorter, so that's why a lot of you know different conversations can happen with the client, with from
Mhm.
from the idea point to the production point. But at first, let's take a look. Let's see this commercial for Lion that you guys produced.
That's what we call a wild esports fan.
So, it is a pretty nice commercial. And just why I'm talking, with such excitement, in general, commercials for esports, it's not a usual thing. And right now it's getting, more and more attention because of brands like Mercedes and, huge brands like Coca-Cola. But tell me, when this commercial was produced? 2, 3.
I think it was 3 years ago. So yeah, 2 years ago, maybe 3. Yeah, I would say 3.
Yeah, so 3 years ago, the commercial exists. It's actually a big deal because at first you're taking, from the client perspective, you're taking risk. You don't know, it's not so many stuff like this being already produced. So you can be like, oh, let's just, take their data, take their numbers and compare, to what we want to achieve, to our KPIs. So you guys manage them to kind of, prevail the struggle and basically give you this opportunity to make a commercial. First of all, let's go with the strategy. We got the joke, yeah, it's very inside joke, inside esports world joke, which I love about this commercial. But tell me more about the brief. What was the strategy, and what was the task? What was the client, goal to achieve?
Yeah. So the whole point here was to kind of like adapt our esports communication to the new brand platform. It was so they before it was so the white pleasure, etc. And I think that's Mother that created the Lion Heroes brand platform like 3 years ago around the Lion style motto. The what is Lion style is like making things bigger, bolder, being super confident, etc. And what they asked us to do is like to create that key asset, that key commercial that would explain to esports fans and gamers what being esports fan lion style really means. So they tasked us with that, and we're like, "Whew, okay, that's a quite of a hard task, but yeah, we'll manage to." And actually, it was pretty hard because you know the drill. Like when you don't have like licensing or a sponsorship, etc., it's kind of hard to talk about esports because it's not like sports. Like esports is owned by someone, and you can just go all the way and talk about it or show footage and whatever, and it's too risky and that's super hard. So we just like figured out the way to go. We were just like, just go for the memes. Just go for the memes. Like no one owns the memes, and we just thought like, what is like one of the funniest and most well-known meme in esports, and that had at a European scale, and we were like, okay, the EU better than NA needs to be there because you see it in the chat all the times, etc. Every time that is like the World Cup and TSM get out of groups, everyone is just like spamming EU better than NA, etc. So we're just like, okay, let's do something with the meme, the EU better than NA meme, and people will love it basically because it's so unusual that a non-endemic brand uh, gets it and use it in an authentic way that people will like fans will automatically have a positive feeling about about that ad and about the brand.
Yeah. So you mentioned, and I kind of I'm gonna show the reaction when you actually broadcasted this this commercial during the live event, and the reaction was pretty great. People got excited
Yeah.
about this set. So, a question: was it a surprise for you guys that like, oh, we this ad resonates with the audience, with they got the jokes, they like it, or before you actually saw the reaction, did you have a fear that it could be a lot of hate just because
Always,
it's always right in
always.
these sports?
That's horrible because or even like when your ad is aired for the first time on Twitch, etc. You have the chat answering right away. You can see there instantly. So that was super super stressful. And here it was even worse because it was like in real life in a stadium, and if they are booing your ad, it's going to resonate, and you're gonna feel it in your bones, and that's going to be a horrible time.
Yeah.
But deep deep inside I was sure, because like this ad made me laugh. It made like everyone laugh at the agency. The few people we showed it, they were like, okay, that's funny, I get it, okay. And I was like, I was pretty sure it was gonna work, but in secret I was just praying, like, please, 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 just work, please, just work.
We are moving to the next one again. Huge famous brand with a history and background, and you guys achieved to produce something pretty cool for them too. And I'm talking about Domino's Pizza and also Coca-Cola. I think was it like a bundle
Yep.
together?
Exactly. That was for combo menu
Wow.
in the
Okay.
US.
So this could be funny, a funny one to talk about because you have
Yeah.
so many things to kind of to keep in your mind to produce stuff. Let's see. Let's take a look on one together. Then I'm gonna play all of them and maybe some all other things, maybe something from I found about this campaign in social in general.
Oh, looking at my collection.
$6 million Echo Slam.
2012, deep play.
And this.
The next big esports moment could be tonight. Order now at Domino's.com.
So, let's start with this. How many commercials, how many spots did you guys produce? Is it like it more than one? It's like 4 or 5, I don't know, 3.
It was 3 for that one. It was 3. We had the Dota version, we had a fighting game version, and we had the League of Legends version. Yeah, because they wanted to broadcast that offer, because it's actually for like a special offer. Right before, for League of Legends it was Worlds. For fighting games it was Evo, and for Dota I think it was the international.
International.
So they actually wanted to mediatize this, to just be broadcasted right before the event, and be like, don't forget, if you want to with your friends watching the event, just order our special bundle, and there you go, and have a great time.
Okay, and now we're getting to the bundle point, like how that happened from the beginning. Who found whom, and it's like Coca-Cola and it's Domino's together. And
Mm.
what was the brief? Is it like tell me a little bit more of the background.
If I remember, our main contact was at Coca-Cola, because actually we went to Atlanta, because that's where their headquarters are, and it was more convenient for them. But I think our
Atlanta.
main contact was Coca-Cola, and I guess it's one of those budgets that are shared with like two brands that are communicating together, etc. You have the same thing with you know hardware, like the PC and Intel, and if you show Intel in the end of the app, then Intel gives you some media buy budget, etc. So
Got
it's
it.
kind of a joint initiative. But
Okay.
if I remember well, I think it's Coke that was our main point of contact for that ad. Yeah.
Got it. And here I want to talk about the workflow and probably again like this steps that you had to make before you get the thing produced, because at first you have two different brands, right? Then you have you can be specific about these tournaments, right? You can't spell out like any names, any like like saying like, oh, it's for international. No, you have to kind of give a hint and show, so people will understand. And also it's like, again, it's esports world and so many things around, so many things to keep in mind. Tell me a
Yeah.
little bit, about the creative workflow, and how did you manage to kind of keep everything together so it's not falling apart just by like, oh, it's just this
All right.
commercial, it's just Coca-Cola.
Mm. So we just started to think of the way we wanted it to feel like, because we were thinking it's like it's a promotional thing, so it's even harder to create an ad that makes sense when you are like promoting a bundle. It's not about talking about it's not a branding spot, it's really like product, and you want to drive sales. So it was super hard to create a story out of it, but we still managed to find that entry that was like just like the esports moments, because um, we didn't actually need to create a consumption moment,
Mm-hmm.
because when you're hanging out with your friends to watch like a football match or a basketball match or esports, uh, and if you want to a good night, etc., you're gonna order some food, etc. So this is already happening. Like people are already ordering Domino's to do viewing parties between friends, etc. So like we just had to explain to the client, like, no worries, this already exists. You don't need to like tell them that they should, because they do it already. You just need to build a story around it, and that's what we need to do here, because that guy keeps just like he's just keeping the pizza boxes as trophies, because like each of these pizza boxes represent a specific esports move that made history,
Mm-hmm.
and at and for every of those moments, he was eating a pizza, a Domino's pizza, and having a Coke with his friends at home, because they were watching the thing together.
Yeah, got it.
So that's why he's like showcasing kind of his trophy, just like in a museum, etc. So he explained that it's very specific to him. This one I remember. It was the $6 million Echo Slam, etc. And he's talking about precise, iconic esports moment that he experienced while having a Domino's at home.
Yeah. And talking about new stuff, we're gonna talk about this, case studies that have been produced. Tell me, please, was this year or 2019?
It was July this year.
July
Yep.
this year, so it's very fresh, amazing.
Gaming is the new hype, right? With the tremendous amount of new possibilities it brings, every brand wants a slice of the cake. But it's not that easy. How do you get
It's
from
a lot happening out
is
there.
the
And
worst-
while it's still playing on the background, please summarize and tell, basically what's the idea and what you guys made.
All right. So really quickly, the context was, well, 2020, COVID, etc. It sucks, but it's still with Lion, and it was for Lion Friends that time. The thing is that they prepared like a packet to sponsorize an esports event in France, and with COVID it got cancelled, of course. So they just knocked and were like, hey guys, we have a bit of leftover budget. Do you have just like a nice idea, just to like engage French gamers? we just we just started to think. It was like the broadest brief ever in a way. Just like, yeah, just do something nice. It can be for esports, it could be for gaming, it could be like streaming, etc. So what we just thought about, it was like during the lockdown, especially in France, you had a lot of streamers that were actually organizing uh, like gaming parties during the nights, and they were playing like more games, like kind of cultural games, or Pictionary, that's Scribble.io, etc. And during the lockdown, the French viewers really enjoyed like one game that is GeoGuessr, um, that had a lot of success among French streamers. So it's just a website that drops you in a random point of the planet, and um, using Google Street View, you just need to find the exact point where you're at. And we were just thinking with Julien, the actor, like, that would be so awesome to do something around that. And so we just imagined the raw map, where we actually created a map for Lyon Cereals, where all the starting points are lions, being them statues, being them like name of bars. In the UK you have bars that are like the three lions or the black lion or whatever, logos, graffitis in South America, etc. And we just like aggregated, I think, like more than 250 points around the world, and created our very own game mode on the GeoGuessr website. And we had streamers play the thing live during one streaming party, and they all enjoyed it like a lot. And the chat was also like super, like, they were like, oh, that's super smart, etc. So that felt also like super nice to us. But like having the influencer having fun, doing the activation was actually really enjoyable, because you could feel that they were having a real good time. And that these the influencers, they're like super bored when a brand comes and they're like, yeah, can you just do this or show that ad or do that. And we just came to them and we're like, hey guys and girls, like, we know you've been playing GeoGuessr a lot these times. Like we just want to have a good time together. We created a map especially for you. The whole trick is that there's a lion in the beginning. So just, if you could take like 3 or 4 seconds in the very beginning and to say like, oh, there is the lion, and then try to find your way, etc. That would be great. And like all the influencers were super happy to participate, and they were like, yeah, guys, whenever you want for a second batch of raw map, and that's it. So it was just like, grabbing a game that was a bit hype, and bringing natural brand presence in it. You don't even have the logo or whatever. It's just like, we are Lion. We're just creating a map with lions as starting point, and everyone can play. And yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and yeah, this is really yeah, it's a creative idea. It's really uh, I won't say unusual, but I want to say that it's something that, like, oh, it's not the surface. It's not like you guys went deeper, and I can also see the trust between you and the brand, because they didn't wait until like Q4 when you will have some budget left. 2020, it was still Q3, and they were like, we have a budget, let's do it. And that's the trust. That's after so many successful projects, they already like, these guys gonna do something that we will all enjoy, and that's amazing. Just two questions about this project. The first one will be about the audience. And my question, I know it's like you're basically targeting the streamer's audience, but was there any specification or any results that was impressive? Like, oh, we get a lot of impressions from like audience way younger that we accepted, or way older, or it's basically it just went as you've been thinking about it. Any surprises there? Anything that was surprising?
No real surprises because we really wanted to also like choose very different profiles of influencers. First, to guarantee, having a real diversity among the influencers we've chosen for that activation, but also because we know that, we know that this streamer or this streamer has more of that community, and a younger one. We try to have like a smart mix of communities, and it worked pretty well. And we had some, even like some influencers that were used to like spend some time together to organize like gaming parties, etc. So the mood was also like super welcoming, etc. So so yeah, and we live tweeted the event also, like to make sure that people see it. And taking we took like Twitch clips uh of the gaming party to post them on Twitter and comment a bit, chatting with the influencers,
Mhm.
etc. So
Mhm.
so that it works. But yeah, we try to be like the like as broad as possible.
Few last questions just in general about Hurrah and esports. First of all, yeah, we all live in this new normal world with the lockdown and with the pandemic. Tell me a little, how did it and how it's still affecting your agencies that you all work at.
It's a new way of doing things. That's a bit hard. You're kind of missing your colleagues, etc. Because I mean, at some point you just need to see faces. Like screens are okay, but the faces, I mean, that's always better. Being it to work with, being it to like eat with during lunch breaks, etc. Like it brings you that social thing that working is just not. It's not only about working and getting money in the end of the month. It's also like seeing people, interacting with them, etc. So that is missing a lot for sure. But mostly I would say for creative purpose also, like all those time where you just like hang out with the um, other creatives in the agenda, just discuss together, and you can just like go to the other room and come back and ask a question to anyone. And I feel like anyway, the face to face, and you even when you're brainstorming, like the face to face way is still like the best way. Even like giving feedback, brainstorming anything, that's way easier when you're doing it face to face. But yeah, I guess we're getting it done anyway.
We will
But
be.
yeah, I miss time still. That's a bit. It's starting to be a bit annoying. That will be like a year soon.
And that's why I want to talk about the future and the future of Hura and your plans for the next year. Maybe you can tell me about, like a creative challenges that you want to face, new clients, and maybe a little about how you guys developing the structure, this like the media, the studio, and the agency. Like just share as much as possible about the future of Hura.
Personally, I want to also like explore some uh some stuff that I didn't really had the opportunity to work on for now. Like I don't know, maybe like doing a big. I would like to like do a big sports collab. Actually, like sports and esports collab. That would be great.
Yeah.
Uh, but also, just having new subjects with like other client, even like in weird in that you couldn't really imagine in esports at first, but then you find that thing again. You find that thing, and you're like, okay, that's where we wanna go with them. And there's like they are always like the most interesting brief to have. So yeah, more of those. Brief us, please. Yeah, I love those moments. I love those moments. It's just like getting crazy about ideas, etc. So yeah, I can't wait for the next batch of briefs, and then yeah, continue to make the new structure work. studio, media, agency work a lot together, but also like making them making these these new company prosper, etc. So yeah, that's gonna be one of the big thing to do in 2021. I think, like stabilizing the whole thing, and continue working, juggling between the three companies within Hurrah.group.
Got it. Okay, and I think that's all for today. And I want to say that at first, I wish you guys a lot of luck, and I want you to keep doing what you're already doing, because stuff that you're making, it's very inspiring, and you're a great example for any others. Esports agencies have to be creative in the world of esports, and in general have to be outstanding from other, basic and almost, right now traditional esports advertising, but you just show like, hypey moments and stuff like this. But also it was great to have you today, and to talk to you and discuss so many interesting things. I feel like I learned like something, even I learned something new today, and it's it's amazing.
But thank you, Nick, for the kind words. That means a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. So yeah, today was me with Clément Debruyne from Hurrah.agency Paris. And yeah, see you guys next probably months. Bye bye.
See you.